What's up guys, Julien here, and today we're going to be unboxing and reviewing the Brook Power Bay. Brook is a pretty cool company. They make a lot of controller adapters, so go check them out if you want to. Maybe they could sponsor this YouTube channel because I really like their products, but this is totally unsponsored. I just was really interested in this product since the last product that we checked out related to Nintendo Switch that did really well on this channel for whatever reason. Thank you for watching it. Was on the Hori Nintendo Switch USB hub. This Power Bay, however, aims to do a lot more. In fact, it is the year 2020, so we get support for two Bluetooth headsets, wireless of course, that's what Bluetooth does, with low latency. We get support of two Gamecube controllers. Basically, it gives you two Gamecube ports on the dock. It also has two USB ports, so you could plug in two more controllers, USB controllers that is, or you could plug in the Nintendo Gamecube controller adapter, which gives you four, and it also gives you HDMI out, and as well as charging capabilities through a pass-through on the USB-C. So it aims to combine many things. Many products in which I have already purchased, but I yet wanted to combine them all. First, of course, is the Nintendo Switch dock. We love it, or you hate it. It's got HDMI, it's got everything you need. It goes throughout, you buy it with the Switch. It combines this Hori adapter, which doesn't have HDMI, but gives you USB ports on your Nintendo Switch in tabletop mode. Pretty cool for traveling, but who travels anymore? And it also gives you half of this, which is the HDMI adapter. The USB GameCube adapter that you would plug into this or this, depending on what you want. So you have three large devices combined into one small device, as well as if you have a Bluetooth adapter, which I do somewhere, not around here. You can usually, there are a lot on the market. There's a lot of USB-C to Bluetooth adapters for your Nintendo Switch, so you can just plug in. It does all of that in one. So I think this would be a really great thing to travel with, considering it is so small. So let's go ahead and unbox it and see what it's all about. So, and there's actually nothing else in it. You just got firmware, product info, user guide. They've totally embraced the paperless route. Kudos to them, I guess. Or maybe it's actually saving them money as well. And as you can see, the design is that of a GameCube, or at least it's supposed to emulate it. And it's got this really nice flip-up thing to protect and also support your Switch. It protects the USB Type-C connector in there, the male connector in there, as it does stick out. So this is really cool. It's got some heft to it. It has an air port, even though it doesn't really need it. It's just by design. And then on the back, it's got an HDMI and of course the USB-C power. On the front, it's got two USB, I guess Type A connectors and two GameCube connectors, which I'm really excited about. So, as you can see, for a size comparison here, we've got, it's actually less than half the size of the Nintendo Switch dock. I think another cool feature about it, however, is that it has, the handle, which says, "We back you up," which is kind of cool, but the handle is removable, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So you push it up, and then it's removable, that's super cool, but also the cool part is that you can slide it onto the back and give it a nice angle, either forward and you can slide it onto the front, which also gives it another angle. So you have two possible angles here. This, the other cool thing, so you can have multiple angles for your Switch if you're playing it in desktop mode, or whatever it's called, tabletop mode rather, which is super cool. So let's get this thing hooked up and see how it works. So the first thing you'll notice when you plug in your Brook to the USB Type-C power brick for the Nintendo Switch on the back is that there's a USB light indicator or a power light indicator on the bottom. It's blue. That's super sweet. It indicates that you have power to the Brook power bay, which is really great. Let's go ahead and plug in the Switch to this. And you see that the light comes on and the console battery is 100% charged. That's really great. If you're playing without HDMI input to the back, you will actually end up being able to use the Nintendo Switch controllers or the Joy-Con that are attached to the Switch, but I believe once you plug in the HDMI, you won't get access to these other than the home button. So that's just one thing to note, but I think that's just normal. That's just how the Switch works. I've been playing around with the Brook dock bay for a little bit. I've plugged in the GameCube controller, really great. Everything seems to be working fine, right? On Smash, that's amazing. So we've successfully combined this and the GameCube controller adapter. However, there are some caveats with the beginning. So if you plug in your GameCube controller to the Brook power bank, if you press pause on the GameCube controller, there's only one button. It acts as the home button on the Nintendo Switch. That's one caveat. Two, L and R by default are grab, and then if you hold it, you're going to end up getting a shield. So for Smash players out there, you understand what that means. But basically, you're going to end up getting a grab coming out if you press R, and if you hold it, then you get a shield. So that's actually pretty bad. I was about to go into the controller settings to see if I can change that, and Z is by default disabled. There's no purpose to use Z. So it looks like the way that this GameCube port and this one are wired is that of a USB controller and not that of a GameCube controller. It just converts it in its internals and does the whole thing. So this actually tells us how it's converting the signals that we're getting from our GameCube controller wired in and then put onto the Switch. It's reading it as a dual Joy-Con Nintendo Switch Pro controller, etc. So it's reading it as a Pro controller, which is interesting. But that being said, you will have to go. This doesn't really. I personally don't think this really changes much. It's just something you're gonna have to configure for yourself, because I think the primary purpose of having a dock like this is having access to a GameCube controller on the go, and you also can potentially replace your Nintendo Switch dock. So you are going to have to go into your settings and change it. So ZL, which doesn't exist, we're just going to have to change this to shield probably, and this to shield as well. Or this is personally how I play. Obviously you change it to whatever you want. So the last thing I wanted to check, actually the last two things I wanted to check about this, because there's two other features, is obviously the HDMI out. It does work. We have the USB to Ethernet working. You can see in the top right, you can see all my amazing games. We've got Smash here playing on the through HDMI out. It's amazing. I'm playing with a GameCube controller. I'm not using a Nintendo Switch dock, official Nintendo Switch dock. This is really great. It works fantastic. So I don't see, and of course, I don't see any visible lag. There may be some. I'm not the world's biggest tech guru. I don't really know that much in terms of visual respect. I don't know what I'm saying right now. But basically, it seems to work. You can see that the Nintendo Switch screen itself actually goes blank. And I would say everything's feeling fine. The GameCube controller works. You can see here, if I push any of these buttons, they don't work. I believe the only button that does work is the home button. Yes, confirm. And so we have a bunch of things working at the same time. I did want to check out how to connect a Bluetooth headset to this, so I'm gonna go get one. Oh wow. Okay. This is amazing. So, as you saw what I just did. Oh, and now this is pause. Hello? Basically, let's go back. Alright, so you guys have no audio right now. So that's one thing to note. If you're using your Bluetooth headset, which I am right here, to transfer all the audio, which you can hear, it's crazy loud. If you transfer the audio to your Bluetooth headset from this box, it's not going to go through your capture card or your TV monitor. So that means that you're not going to be able to output the audio to your stream or your recording. So that's something to note if you're a streamer or a YouTuber. This function is something you're going to have to bypass. I still think it's a great function, and it's really cool that they included it. The other thing is you can see my GameCube controller is working as intended. So that would be, as you can see, in use. We have the GameCube controller. That's related to this button, the function button on the front. If you push this again and hold it down, I believe, you can see the in use went away, and now it's working as a Nintendo Pro controller or Nintendo Switch Joy-Con. So I can press the pause button again and go out to the sweet home screen. If I wanted to switch back to GameCube controller, all I have to do is hold down the function button. Their website's really great. It's super useful. So if I hold it down that long, I assume that was about 5 seconds. You can see that, and once I start using the GameCube controller, it switches it over to a GameCube controller, which is now in use, and if I press the start button, nothing happens. We can see L, R, Z grab, and if I press the start button here, it works as a start button. So that's really great. These two buttons actually do a function. I thought they were just buttons at first. This is a really cool product. Brook thought of it all, except for the streamers. What about the streamers, guys? Come on. No, I'm kidding. This is a really cool product. I'm a big fan of it, and I hope you guys check it out. It is how much money on Amazon? We will find out. So, there are two options. There's one with Bluetooth. That would be the Power Crimson, the Power Bay Crimson, and the Power Bay Regular. The Power Bay Crimson, the red one, does not have any Bluetooth support, and it's $10 cheaper. It's $52 on Amazon. The Power Bay Regular, or the Brook Power Bay, is $65, so it's actually $13 more expensive, but you get Bluetooth support. So if you have Bluetooth headphones, I think that's worth the money. By comparison, if you go to the official Nintendo Switch dock, is like $120 right now on Amazon. I believe that's not the actual MSRP, but currently, if you wanted to buy a Nintendo Switch dock, that's the price as of August 7th, which is when I'm recording this, 2020. So, and the Nintendo Switch dock, bulkier. Look how much bigger it is. It's a problem. It doesn't have Bluetooth. It doesn't have the GameCube controller support. It doesn't have different angles. You can't use it as a stand for your Nintendo Switch. This thing is really a do-all product. The other cool thing I really like about this is that it gives your Nintendo Switch more airflow around it. The Nintendo Switch dock obviously covers it on two sides, and I think that's a problem. especially, I don't know, maybe this is just particularly my dock. I don't know if anyone's reported this, but I have two official Nintendo Switch docks because my girlfriend actually bought a Nintendo Switch about 6 months after it launched. I, of course, bought it day one. So my Nintendo Switch is day one, and my Nintendo Switch dock is day one. So I've noticed that even if I'm just charging my Nintendo Switch on my day one Nintendo Switch dock, on my day one Nintendo Switch, it's kind of warm and kind of hot when I take it out, even if it's the day after, right? So I put it in at night and it fully charges probably by like however long it takes, and then it's basically is really hot after I take it out. I don't know if anyone else has noticed this. This is just me. But yeah, if I charge my Nintendo Switch on my girlfriend's dock, which is maybe 6 or 7 months out from the Nintendo Switch launch, it's cool to the touch when I take it out the next day. So I don't know if anyone else has noticed that. Maybe that's my Nintendo Switch specifically, and in combination with my Nintendo Switch dock. But I think this is a really cool alternative. It does everything that I wanted to do now that I've sorted out a couple of controller rewiring and things like that, and it's also way more compact. It has Bluetooth support and GameCube support, and if we can ever travel again, I think this is a really great purchase for going on abroad, because now I don't have to plug in a GameCube controller adapter to my Hori, RIP Hori Switch dock. Although that one does give you 4 USB ports, so that does have some advantage over this, but I think the compromise for USB support and everything in one, Bluetooth support and everything in one, is really fantastic. So I definitely endorse this product. $65. It's cheaper than your regular dock and does everything better, I think. And has more functions. I think this is a really great purchase. Go ahead and check it out. The Brook Power Bay. Have a great day, guys. Peace out.